the Trump team is now just basically really and truly telling the judicial system to pound sand on this one. You guys want all this information on the deportations and this, that, and the other? They're like, basically like F off, right? Like, we're not doing this because this is actually now a matter of state secrets. And that is the justification that you're hearing right now from the likes of Pam Bondi and others. Donald Trump, of course, making it clear that he's got that 1798 Enemy Aliens Act that we can rely on because this is effectively a time of war. You've got Venezuelans coming in, or perhaps these MS-13 members who are, this is, I don't know how you want to slice it any other way. I mean, it's a kind of war on American society. And this is what he said most recently while traveling on Air Force One.
Criticism that the Alien Enemies Act has only been invoked 3 other times. They were all during times of war. Do you feel that you're using it appropriately right now?
Well, this is a time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They emptied jails out. Other nations emptied their jails into the United States. That's an invasion. And these are criminals, many, many criminals, murderers, drug dealers at the highest level, drug lords, people from mental institutions. That's an invasion. They invaded our country. So this isn't, in that sense, this is war.
Yeah. Okay? In that sense, it is. I mean, if you're living in a community and you're struggling with MS-13, you don't think that's a kind of war? So again, I'm sort of troubled. Like, how do you come out on the side of the criminals on this one? And by the way, if you're here as a student and you're an agitator, there's a 1952 law that enables the State Department to deport you. Why can't we deport somebody who's here illegally straight back to El Salvador? And by the way, that's where they're going on this, because this gang, as you may or may not know, originates out of El Salvador. It's one of the reasons why Bukele's crackdown has been so significant in El Salvador, because he wanted to clean up this gang. So many members of this gang have now come to the United States, and so the administration is tasked with trying to clean up the streets and get rid of the violence that is being perpetuated from these MS-13 members. So this guy in particular, the 24-year-old they believe that was a ringleader in Virginia, he's from El Salvador. So I don't even, you're here. We believe that you're the ringleader of this gang. We're going to send you back to El Salvador. I really don't understand what the big deal is there. You're going to go back to the country that you came from. End of story. You are here illegally. We believe you to be this, etc. So as you well know, the judge in this deportations case, he'd been asking all these questions, and we heard last week from Pam Bondi on Thursday, after the deadline had been extended, that she wasn't going to turn it over. She's like, listen, he has no authority to be asking these things. And when she eventually answered some of his questions, it was very thinly done. In other words, this administration has a message. And that message is, don't get in the way of national security. You're a district judge. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're talking about. Here's Pam effectively saying that last Thursday on Fox News.
Let's start, if we might, from the decision by Judge Boasberg. Tomorrow is your deadline to answer questions. Those questions include the following: what time did the plane take off from U.S. soil? Where did it leave from? What time did it leave U.S. airspace? And what time did it land in a foreign country? You have, 4, 5, 6 questions the judge wants answers to regarding the details of those flights over the weekend. How will you respond at the Department of Justice?
Well, our lawyers are working on this. We will answer appropriately, but what I will tell you is this judge has no right to ask those questions. You have one unelected federal judge trying to control foreign policies, trying to control the Alien Enemies Act, which they have no business presiding over. And there are 261 reasons why Americans are safer now. That's because those people are out of this country. The judge had no business, no power to do what he did. And he came in on an emergency basis on a Saturday with very, very short notice, if any, to our attorney to run in the courtroom. And this has been a pattern with these liberal judges. You just spoke about that. It's been a pattern with what they've been doing. This judge had no right to do that. They're meddling in foreign affairs. They're meddling in our government. And the question should be, why is a judge trying to protect terrorists who have invaded our country over American citizens? You know, TDA is a terrorist organization. They are organized, they have a government structure within them. They are sending money not only throughout this country to each other, but back to Venezuela. They are a terrorist organization, and we are not going to have that in our country. We are going to deport them.
We're going to deport them, right? That's her message. We're going to keep on deporting them. TDA is the Venezuelan gang. MS-13 is the El Salvadoran gang. And it originated, as I said, in El Salvador. It's just been a disaster there. But the new president has come in and he's like, you know what? I'm not taking it. I'm not dealing with it. We're going to be really strict on this. I got a war on gangs. And what have they done? They have dramatically cut the homicide rate there to the lowest in Latin America. I mean, that's amazing, right? That is an enormous success story. So Trump's like, I don't want these people here. Send them back. Let Bukele deal with them, right? He can deal with them because they got quite a way of dealing with them, shall we say, there in their El Salvadorian prison system. Tom Homan saying, you know what, I don't care two bits about any of these judges. We are here to do what we are here to do. And now the DOJ backing them up and saying, yeah, we got national security concerns here at risk. We don't have to provide all this information or all these excuses to these judges. Listen to Tom. I've played this, but I want to play it again because he's saying there's no way in HELL we're stopping. No way, Jose. How do you like that?
Another flight every day. The teams are going to be out there every day. Every day, the men and women of ICE are going to be in the neighborhoods of this nation arresting criminal, illegal alien, public safety threats, and national security threats. Lawrence, you're not going to stop us. We made a promise to the American people. The President Trump has made a promise to the American people. We're going to make this country safe again. I wake up every morning loving my job because I work for the greatest president in the history of my life, and we're going to make this country safe again. I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
And by the way, I should point out that they've continued doing what they're doing because there was another flight that took off after the one that went to El Salvador that went back to Venezuela with a bunch of Venezuelan alleged criminals. And then you have them saying, you know, no, we're not going to do this because we have state secrets on our side. This is a matter of national security, and we're not going to be stopped by these crazy judges that have all kinds of, well, personal vendettas. I mean, that's what they're saying. Tremendous bias. We're going to get into those biases. First, just to shout out, if you're not on 76 Research, guys, you got to do this. I created it for you. It only costs $1, right? Those are our top 3 portfolios. Look at those holdings, up 72%, 75%, 72% for some of the top. These are the top 5 in each of the portfolios. All of the portfolios are beating the S&P, which is not an easy thing to do, but you better believe we're doing it. I got a really good partner at 76 Research, my very dear friend, Rob Horton, who's brilliant, smart, and by the way, he's got so much between the two of us that we're generating. You really just ought to sign up. If nothing else, use my code $, sign up for the newsletter. But the real value, I'm just going to say, like I just have to say because I'm looking out for you, is in the portfolios. That's where you want to be. We tell you our top 10 to 15 stocks in each of these things. There's a growth portfolio, an inflation protection portfolio, an income builder portfolio. So hopefully you can retire one day. Go check those out. 76portfolios.com. Remember that, 76portfolios.com, or go to 76research.com. Get those portfolios, guys. I want to see you succeed, and I actually really believe in the economic policies that are being put forward. I think there's a tremendous opportunity for the U.S. economy right now.